Summary of Eryximachus' speech on love in Plato's Symposium. Eryximachus' speech introduces a scientific and medical perspective on love, broadening the discussion beyond human relationships to include a cosmic and universal dimension. As a physician, Erixyimachus draws upon his expertise to argue that love, or Eros, governs not only human interactions, but also the natural world and the harmony of the universe. Love as a cosmic force. Erixymachus begins by asserting that love exists everywhere and manifests in various forms. He extends the concept of love to include the interactions between elements, the balance within the human body, and the order of the cosmos. According to Erixymachus, love is a unifying principle that ensures harmony and balance across all levels of existence. In this context, Erixymachus identifies two forms of love, mirroring Pausanias' distinction between heavenly and common love. Healthy love. This form of love promotes balance, harmony, and order. It is associated with health, moderation, and the proper functioning of natural processes. Unhealthy love. This form of love disrupts balance and harmony, leading to disease, disorder, and excess. It represents the misalignment of natural forces. Erixymachus emphasizes that the role of a physician, much like that of a philosopher, is to cultivate healthy love and correct unhealthy love, thereby restoring harmony. The role of love in medicine. Drawing from his medical expertise, Erixymachus explains that the body is governed by the interplay of opposites, such as hot and cold or dry and wet. Health arises when these opposing forces are in balance, and disease occurs when they are in conflict. Love, he argues, is the force that mediates these interactions and maintains equilibrium. The physician's task is to understand and manipulate these forces of love to promote health. Erixymachus compares this process to music, where harmony is achieved by balancing high and low notes. Just as a musician creates harmony through skillful composition, Erixymachus' speech in Plato's Symposium stands as a unique contribution to the dialogue, contrasting with the more familiar speeches made by figures like Socrates and Aristophanes. Erixymachus, a physician, introduces a scientific and philosophical perspective on love, or Eros, which he views not only as a force affecting human behavior, but as a cosmic principle that governs harmony and order throughout the universe. His speech draws on his understanding of medicine and the principles of balance and proportion, offering a distinct interpretation of the nature of love. In this essay, we will explore Erixymachus' view of love, its philosophical implications, and the ways in which his speech reflects broader themes in the symposium. Erixymachus' background and context. Erixymachus appears in the symposium as a respected physician, invited to the gathering of intellectuals and lovers of philosophy in the house of the wealthy host, Agathon. Like the other speakers, Erixymachus offers an encomium, or speech of praise, to Eros, the god of love, but his approach differs significantly from that of his peers. While most of the other participants focus on love in human terms such as romantic love, erotic attraction, and the influence of love on individuals, Erixymachus extends the scope of his speech to encompass the whole cosmos, drawing analogies between love and the workings of the natural world. In contrast to the poets, playwrights, and philosophers who dominate the discussion, Erixymachus speaks from the position of someone who sees the world through the lens of medical science. His professional background shapes his view of love as a universal principle of balance and harmony, something that governs not only human affairs, but also the order of the universe itself. The central claim, love as cosmic order. Erixymachus begins his speech by criticizing the previous speakers, especially Phaedrus, Pausanias, and Aristophanes, for presenting limited and overly subjective views of Eros. He asserts that these accounts fail to recognize the broader, more essential role of love in the natural order. He proposes a view of love that is not confined to human relationships or the individual realm, but instead governs the entire cosmos, including the movements of the stars, the changes in the seasons, and the balance within the human body. According to Erixymachus, Eros is a force that ensures harmony and health, both in the microcosm of the human body and in the macrocosm of the natural world. He draws on his medical expertise to argue that love is present in all processes of the universe, and its influence can be seen in the regulation of both physical and moral aspects of existence. Eryximachus explains that when love operates correctly, it creates balance, producing order and health, while its imbalance leads to chaos and disorder, causing disease or moral corruption. Love in the human body. One of the most striking features of Eryximachus' speech is his description of the role of love in the human body. As a physician, he sees the body as a microcosm of the larger natural world, and he uses his medical knowledge to draw analogies between the two. In his view, the balance between opposing forces within the body, such as hot and cold, wet and dry, or moist and dry, is maintained by the influence of Eros. When these elements are properly balanced, the body is in a state of health, but when they become imbalanced, disease results. Eryximachus applies the same principles of balance to emotions and morality. Just as the body requires a harmonious balance of physical elements, the soul requires a balance of moral and emotional elements. If love governs the soul properly, it leads to virtue and moral health, while the absence of love or its corruption results in vice and moral decay. Thus, Eros is not just a force behind physical attraction or passion. It is the fundamental principle that sustains the integrity of both the body and the soul. The role of love in the cosmos. Eryximachus extends his view of love beyond the human body to encompass the entire universe. He argues that love is present in all things, from the smallest particles to the largest cosmic bodies. The regularity of the stars and the order of the seasons, he suggests, are manifestations of love's influence. In this sense, Eros is a principle of cosmic harmony that operates through all natural processes. Just as the physician must diagnose and treat imbalances within the body, so too must those who study the cosmos recognize the importance of maintaining cosmic balance through love. This broader view of love as a cosmic principle echoes ideas found in other philosophical traditions of ancient Greece. For example, the idea that the cosmos is governed by harmonious principles can be seen in the Pythagorean notion of the music of the spheres, which holds that the movements of the planets produce a kind of celestial harmony. Eryximachus' account of love as a cosmic force shares similarities with this idea, in that he sees love as something that connects all things and maintains the order of the universe. The dual nature of love, beneficial and harmful. Eryximachus also acknowledges that love has both beneficial and harmful effects. Just as love can bring about harmony and health when it is balanced, it can also lead to disorder and disease when it is excessive or improperly directed. This dual nature of love reflects the broader philosophical understanding of forces such as love, which can have both positive and negative consequences, depending on their manifestation. He explains that love can take two forms: the right kind of love, which promotes health and balance, and the wrong kind of love, which results in discord and imbalance. In the human body, for example, when the forces of heat, cold, moisture, and dryness are in the correct proportions, they promote health. But when one of these forces becomes excessive or deficient, illness results. Similarly, in relationships between people or within the soul, love can be either a force for virtue or a source of vice, depending on whether it is properly directed. Criticism of other speakers. Throughout his speech, Eryximachus criticizes the other speakers, particularly their limited understanding of love. For example, he dismisses Aristophanes' mythological account of love as incomplete and overly fanciful, and he takes issue with Pausanias' division of love into noble and base forms, suggesting that these views fail to appreciate the true nature of love as a universal principle. According to Eryximachus, the previous speaker's failure to recognize the broader, cosmic dimensions of love reflects their misunderstanding of its true nature and power. While this criticism might appear harsh, it serves to highlight the contrast between Eryximachus' scientific and rational view of love and the more poetic, subjective perspectives offered by the other participants. His speech serves as a corrective to these more limited views, positioning love not just as a force for human attraction or personal fulfillment, but as a fundamental cosmic principle that governs all things. Conclusion: Eryximachus' legacy in the Symposium. Eryximachus' speech in the Symposium offers a distinctive and thought-provoking perspective on love. By framing love as a cosmic principle that governs both the natural world and human affairs, he provides a more systematic and scientific view of love than the more poetic accounts of his peers. His medical and philosophical expertise informs his understanding of love as a force of harmony and balance, shaping both the body and the soul, as well as the broader cosmos. In many ways, Eryximachus' speech reflects the dialogue's larger themes, such as the nature of beauty, the pursuit of truth, and the question of how human beings should live in accordance with the cosmic order. His ideas also set the stage for Socrates' famous speech, which challenges and redefines the understanding of love in a more philosophical and dialectical manner. Eryximachus may not be the most well-known or celebrated speaker in the Symposium, but his speech is crucial for understanding the diversity of views on love in the dialogue and for appreciating the range of ways in which love can be conceptualized in ancient Greek thought.